Alright guys, so I've been trying to make a video for the past couple days, but every time on my phone it would either run out of memory or it would just, every time I uploaded it, it was really blurry, just because it was on my iPhone, it was on the front-facing camera. So I finally dug out my old digital camera, which is really shitty, but it's working for now. So I wanted to do a couple book reviews on just some books that I picked up lately on witchcraft in general. So here we go. Okay. So the first book I'm going to review, I did sort of a miniature review in one of my first videos, and it's called Gypsy Love Magic by Raymond Buckland. And, not sure if you can see down there, but this book is not useful, in my opinion. I mean, granted, it's 20 years old, but it really doesn't. I didn't know it was Gypsy Love Magic. I guess that's my fault for not reading it. But it is Gypsy Love Magic. It's all spells. It has nothing to do with just information on gypsies or magic or how they came to be or, anything. I think it even has prayers to a certain god, and it refers to this god by name, and I have no idea who this person is. If it's a person that gypsies worship, I would know because he didn't include it in this book. So this book isn't that interesting. And then I also feel like he infuses this too much with Wicca, which is not what I want. I hate when authors do that, and just because you're Wiccan does not mean you can't give me accurate information on different types of witchcraft. It does not mean that you have to make it a Wiccan tradition. I don't know. Maybe you don't understand where I'm coming from, but I mean, even on the front cover he has a symbol of the goddess, which just bothers me because, as far as I know, I don't think they worship the god and the goddess, the Wiccan god and the goddess. They probably worship different deities, but I don't know. I don't know where I was going, but yeah. So this book is, at best, just a good novelty, good information. It's interesting. The second book is The Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. And the reason I picked this up is because I knew that I would need it in the future. I knew that it was a staple in most people's collections on YouTube. I've seen people talk really highly about it. And so I felt like it was a good idea to get. And I wanted to, crystal work is an area that I'm really lacking in, so I really wanted to learn as much as I can. And even though my crystal collection isn't huge, I figured this was great just to have for when it does grow. The third book is the Encyclopedia of Magical Ingredients by Lexa Rojan. And this book was not necessarily recommended. Stacy from Stacy's Wiccan Way on YouTube has this book, and she was talking about it in one of her videos on making witch bottles. And I thought this was really cool just because it gives you just multiple ingredients and what their magical properties are. And I think it's really cool. And it gives you, what each one is used for and blah, blah, blah. And then it has little tables in the back, say you're looking for herbs that have to do with cleansing. And then it gives you multiple herbs and crystals and, not crystals, just herbs. Sometimes it'll give you different things, like egg is in here. Actually, yeah. Sometimes there's crystals. But I think it's really cool. The only complaint I have about this book is that the author was the astrology advisor for Cosmo Girl, and I feel like a lot of the ingredients she claims you can just brew up a love potion with and no one gets hurt, and it's great. It's not true, but whatever. Next book, I picked this book up at Barnes Noble on Sunday, and it is Meditation, an In-Depth Guide by Ian Gawler and Paul Bedson. And basically, all I wanted was to further my understanding of meditation. I meditate pretty often, but I wanted to know different techniques, and I just wanted more information about it because I knew that there was information about meditating. So It's definitely interesting. It's a book that you actually need to sit down and read. It's not something you can just flip to a page, and it's not just a reference book. You actually need to read it. So I'm just finding time to actually read it because I work like every day. But it's really great so far. So I really enjoy that. The fifth book, which I know you're all going to give me shit for, but I'm not really interested, so is Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. The reason I got this book is, well, first of all, I'm not a Wiccan. I'm not a beginner either. And I feel like a lot of people, the problem they have with her is that she doesn't always give the most accurate information, and apparently she doesn't live up to some people's moral code, I guess, moral standard. But I felt like this book, a lot of people swear by it. And when I was beginning, this book wasn't available to me, so I wanted to get it now, just to have, because a lot of people do have it, and I figured, you know, what would it hurt to look at? And I don't find too many things wrong with this book. The only thing I don't like is, I don't find this book very useful, first of all. I think a lot of her rituals are very complicated, especially for beginners, and I think that most of the information she gives you is just background information, which is great, but for a Solitary Witch, and especially a Book of Shadows, should give you information on how to do that. She gives you information about the circle, but she doesn't give you information on how to cast it, how to release it, any of that. She just entertains you with a story about the circle. So I thought that was interesting. It's not really anything. I've heard a lot of people say that they're constantly going back to this book, and they're very advanced, you know, into their path and into their practice, and they don't even consider themselves Wiccans, but they still go back to this book so much, and just for some reason I don't find myself in the same spot with this book. So to me it was kind of, I could live with or without it. Also, another point on Silver Ravenwolf, I feel like most people need to stop giving her shit, because at the end of the day, each person practices differently, and you're not going to change what's written in her book. And if you're not smart enough to pick out the bullshit from the actual facts, then, I don't know, that's kind of your fault, not Silver Ravenwolf's, and that's just my opinion. So I've gotten a lot of shit on that on my blog, so I'm not changing my opinion, I'm sorry. The last book I just got in the mail today, and I've been like waiting for it. I've been so excited. It's Italian Witchcraft by Raven Grimalsi. I've only read like the first 2 pages so far. I had work tonight. But I'm so interested in witchcraft from different cultures in different parts of the world, and so I'm really excited to read this. The only thing that I'm kind of skeptical about is that it goes a lot into, like one of the chapters is the moon and witchcraft, moon magic, and I don't know. I forget what the other thing was. But basically, what I'm getting is that either Raven Grimalsi is wrote this and is trying to blend it with Wicca, and his own personal form is mainly goddess worship, or they just only focused on the goddess. So I'm really interested to read that and how they worked with the god as well, if they worked with the god. So that's it for my book reviews. The next thing I wanted to show you guys were my Book of Shadows and my my workbook that I just picked up. So basically, lately I'll be thinking of something, you know, say I'm meditating with Apollo and I want to write down a prayer to him, or say I'm just really frustrated and kind of want to jot down a spell or prayer or whatever. I never had anything to write it down in. My Book of Shadows is very organized and everything is very neat, and I make sure that I know 100% that I'm going to have it in there forever before I put it in there. And I just needed like a workbook. So basically, I went to Walmart with my friend. I picked up a 5-star notebook and some different color pens, and yeah, I can just kind of take this wherever with me, and if I think of something, I can jot it down. And it doesn't matter if it looks like shit, basically. So that's really cool. Whatever. And then I have my Book of Shadows, which I'm not actually going to show you guys the insides of my Book of Shadows, but I got the idea. It's just a 3-ring binder, and then I got the idea to wrap it in cloth from another user on YouTube, and I know it wasn't her idea. I know it's been used before, but yeah. And then I got this iron-on patch in Vegas when I was like 11. So I love my Book of Shadows. I think it's really practical and still nice at the same time. And I think that's it for the most part. Oh, and I ordered an amethyst crystal double terminated amethyst on Etsy from this really sweet girl, and it's so beautiful, and I love it, and I wear it pretty much every day. So yeah, those are just some things that I wanted to show you guys, and leave your comments and feedback, whatever. I feel like, you know, whatever. So, peace out, guys, and I'm going to make a video talking about something else. Bye.